I think discipline is the number one thing. I suppose the best analogy is usually health, right? If you want to lose weight or be healthy or whatever, you'll get in the gym. If you want to get better at basketball, you go practice. Any skill, I suppose, is the same. I'm just trying to get into the gym, songwriting gym, as much as possible. Talk about people like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James. They're at the gym like 8-10 hours a day, eating perfect food, and like they dedicate everything to really perfect their craft. And so not saying I'm like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James level or whatever, but I would like to emulate their dedication to the craft. And so posting actually has been one of the main ways for me to get in the gym more.
Welcome to Music and Mission, where we explore identity, vocation, and mission through music and conversation. Welcome to Season 2 of Music and Mission. Slight changes to the format. We are now officially on the new Music and Mission Instagram. Some of the production is a bit downgraded, but I think for good reason. In part, increasing accessibility. A lot of the conversations from that the first 9 episodes and conversations, it was very clear that the heart of a songwriter is a lot of openness to encounters with God. And in songwriting, that comes as lines and melodies and music, and you don't always have like your full recording setup, your headphones, your mic, etc. with you, and all you've got is like a phone or a napkin, a notebook to capture that moment. And so I think that's what the goal of this whole platform has been and is to collect those prayers, a place to collect prayers, even if it's just a piece of a prayer, it's a song in progress, but just to create a space where that can be shared and collected, and in doing so, hopefully encouraging the gift of songwriting, because from Letter to Artists, from St. Pope John Paul II, he says, when we become more conscious of that gift, that's the only way for us to come to a full understanding of ourselves, our vocation, and our mission. And so that's why I'm really excited for my guest today, because he has for a while now been using Instagram exactly for this purpose. He's posting beautiful music, covers, original songs, but also he's been posting fragments of prayers, songs in progress. Even just earlier, he posted a piece of a song that he's working on. And so I'm really, really excited to get to know more about his creative process and how he mixes faith with his pursuit of a career in music. So let's welcome to Music and Mission Season 2, playing an original song entitled Homeless, Tommy Francisco.
Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless, no purpose, nothing I can see. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless, no purpose, nothing I can see. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Hungry, haven't eaten in 3 days. People just keep walking away. Surrounded by people, but I am alone. I'll give everything that I have from the nothing that I own. I'm homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless, no purpose, nothing I can see. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless, no purpose, nothing I can see. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. My family left me long ago, and I do not know their face, 'cause they've gone away and I've gone astray. Not sure where I'm going or what's my next place. I'm homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless, no purpose, nothing I can see. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless, no purpose, nothing I can see. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been. A man gave me $1 today. I bought a bread roll filled with jam. I'm happy, yes I am. Man gave me $1 today. Bought a bread roll filled with jam. I'm happy, yes I am. Man gave me $1 today. I bought a bread roll filled with jam. I'm happy, yes I am. A man gave me $1 today. I bought a red roll filled with jam. I'm happy, yes I am. I'm homeless on the street, homeless I have been. Homeless, no purpose, nothing I can see. Homeless on the street, homeless I have been.
Yes. Awesome, Tommy.
Appreciate you.
How are you? Welcome, welcome.
I'm well. It is bright and early. Not really. It's like 9 a.m. here. 10 a.m. actually. So a little later, but feeling well. Just played a song, so quite grateful.
Across the world, you are currently in
Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, awesome.
Crazy. This is insane.
Yeah, thanks for joining. I love your style is such street musician style. It's so cool. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
But yeah, it's crazy to be able to have you on from across the world, and definitely because we have met several times in conferences and things, and I think I really remember one of those conferences, Full Blast, was where we really got to hang out a bit. And that was where you were sort of thinking about where your future was going as far as possibilities and even career. And since then has been a lot of amazing music you've been putting out there. On Instagram, especially, that's what it's like exactly what this platform hopes to be. So what sort of led you to pursuing music, and what is it that you've been sort of working on?
Oh, big question. I mean, okay, so first question, what led me to pursue music? I mean, I really hope it was Jesus, just to be straight, like blunt, I suppose. But you mean it was a lot of like, I suppose I just kind of got here, to be honest. Like, so I didn't do music in high school. So high school, I wasn't really I didn't do music in terms of the studying, but I did upload a couple covers, and that's kind of where it took off, which is kind of bad because I would upload a cover like I recorded on my like iPhone, whatever, recorded in my bathroom because apparently there's good good echoes or good reverb. And then it would get a whole bunch of likes. And I was like, oh, I like this. I like the likes. I like the, and so I kept doing it, and they kept getting likes. And so that eventually led me to like kind of, I suppose, suss out, oh, that's Aussie slang, kind of investigate what the music career or lifestyle would be like. And so I ended up I started a double degree, Bachelor of Commerce Economics, Bachelor of Arts Music. 2 years in, I dropped the economics and decided to finish off the music. And that time is actually where Full Blast kind of landed, because after that conference is actually when I was like, all right, that's it. I'm dropping the economics. I'm gonna do the music. And that's because I suppose the moment was, and it's always weird like saying this out loud, but it's like I heard like, so there was a conference, Full Blast. It was in the Philippines, Icon. It was like 10,000 people or something like that. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Doesn't really matter. and they like the community, CFC Youth for Christ, had asked me to produce and make a song for the conference, and I was like, yeah, that's all good. I was at this point when they asked me, I didn't even know if I was going, but I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, yeah, I'll try and put something together. And so they send me like some of the like pastoral stuff or whatever, and then I make the song and kind of what they want and the vibes and stuff, and then I make it, send it off. They're like, yeah, it's all good. And then I see these dance challenges happening, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, that's a cool thing that like my voice and people are dancing to it was a, because I like you said, I'm not really a, like, you don't dance to the songs that I usually sing. But anyways, I get to I end up going to the conference, and and what's crazy is the first time I hear the song, it was at it was before the conference. It was the pre-icon.
Oh yeah, right.
Pre-icon party or something like that. Like, it was in a shopping center. It was cool. But the first time I hear the song, they're teaching the song, and it sounds horrible. I was like, what happened? I swear I sent the song. I heard it on like other people's speakers. Like, because at this point, like, my job, like, kind of like part-time job, I was still studying, was like to make music sound good. And so I hear the song and it sounds like I made it in a toaster with like a potato and like, do you mean like it sounded? And I was like, ask any of the other Aussie delegates. I was like sad. I was very like, all right, Lord, I know what this means. I know exactly what you're saying to me here. Do economics. Anyway, moving after that day, the next day I hear the song, and they play it on the big speakers or whatever, and it's crazy. I'm like, yo, like, they're playing it at the, like, they play like, that's my voice. Whoa, like, and it was hard to like not get prideful, to be honest. I was like, boy, to the Aussie boys, I was like, boys, keep me humble, please, because like it was getting to my head. I was like, oh man, that's my voice again. Oh, sick. Anyway, but the moment that really like sent me like that, like this was it. Like I'm a go is on the closing worship, like after the closing worship on the Saturday night. They played full blast, obviously, to kind of close the night, and everyone's celebrating about the worship. And then I hear fireworks starting to go off, and I look up, and they start playing full blast, and they had choreographed like fireworks to my voice, and I was like, in that moment in my head, I was like, Tommy, what other sign do you need? Like, do you mean like honestly, like I felt really like, I suppose, privileged or like blessed, because it was like, I guarantee not many other musicians will get a sign to pursue music that is that clear and obvious. Like, in that moment, Jesus was like, yo, Tommy, like, I'm literally exploding things in your face to tell you, keep doing this. And so after that moment, I mean, it wasn't right after that moment, like, but that moment felt pretty like affirming, I suppose, like as affirmed as one could be. But like in post and like in reflection, it was definitely like one of the moments that was like, all right, this is what you should do. You should do music.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what got me to this place.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because that Full Blast was the 25th anniversary of the YFC community. So that was why they launched fireworks. It's not a normal thing.
Yeah, there you go. It's crazy.
I think also crazy to hear that when you heard it in person, you were saddened by what you had made, that it wasn't actually as perfect as you would have wanted it to be. And I think what's crazy is for God to still use what you felt was not enough, was imperfect, and then to say, look, I can still use that, if you give it to me. And then he, choreographed fireworks to what you felt was not good enough, was not perfect enough. And then God said, I can still use your talent. And if you give it to me, I can choreograph fireworks to it.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's crazy. Frick. Man. Yeah. So good. Jesus.
Amen. Well, then since then, and then so you were resolved, a clear sign from God to sort of pursue music, a clear affirmation to keep going. And then what has that journey been like? In what ways are you pursuing music? Because that's something that most of the people that I've talked to so far, music is a hobby and an outlet and a form of expression, but not necessarily a career or a specific, pursuing music as a career or a profession.
What has it been like? I mean, I suppose it's been difficult. I think there's definitely a big stigma around pursuing music. Like it's either you mean like you're Bruno Mars or Ed Sheeran, or you're busking on the street. Like that's kind of the two options that I suppose people's heads come to mind. And obviously that's actually that stigma is what like hinders people from jumping in. It hindered me, like, because I was like, yo, like, how am I gonna pay for food and like support a family, blah blah blah. But what it's been like, I mean, it's a whole bunch of just trying and testing things that you don't know will work, because that's essentially what, like, I mean, it's essentially the same as any other professional job. It's just that I don't get the I suppose stability or safety net of someone else having started the business or whatever. You mean like no one else, like, yeah. I think that's probably, I'm not wording it very well, but like the biggest thing I suppose that comes to mind when you say, what has it been like? It's been a lot of learning, like more so than my degree, more so than any, like, I don't know, talks that I've been to. Like the pursuit or the journey of like being a musician is very, like there's a lot of learning you got to do. And you, I suppose you can't necessarily make excuses about like that you haven't learnt it yet, or someone else has learnt it before you or whatever. Like that's a big thought in my head, because it's like sometimes it's like I look at other musicians or musicians that I know, and it's like, man, how come and this is a big thing about Jesus too, right? Because it's like, how come, like these, they're not necessarily followers of Christ or whatever. They don't necessarily know Jesus or whatever. And I look at them, and this, I suppose the things that they do or whatever, and in my head I'm like, man, how come they have this many followers, or how come their song gets this many streams? Like they don't even know you, Jesus. Like, so I question, like, come on, man. Like, I go to mass every Sunday and some other days too, I suppose, and blah blah. And but you can't, like, that's not how it works. Like, you don't necessarily get to say that. And that's what I suppose I've been learning about music. Like, no one necessarily cares, I suppose. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, now I'm just rambling. But I think, I think how I've been chasing music, it's been very challenging. Yeah, I think that's all. I'll leave it, or else I'll keep looping around.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, definitely, I can't imagine to describe it in a short time. But definitely, I really resonate with what you said about this sort of continuous learning. There's a part in Letter to Artists where Saint Pope John Paul II says, when you perceive in yourself this divine spark, which is the artistic vocation, which is, I think, you had a divine blast of this artistic vocation. And then he says they feel this obligation not to waste the talent, but to develop it, to put it at the service of their neighbor and of humanity as a whole. And I think that's what I really notice about you, is that it clearly from everything you're posting, not even, I don't think the way it comes off to me, not even necessarily for, the likes and the attention, but like that you're really trying to hone a craft and to get better and better at this talent and develop it.
Yeah, I mean, and that, like, I suppose that's what it's about. Like, because it's like, I don't know. Like, yeah, like, I think, yeah, you just put it like that you just put it perfectly, to be honest. It's like, because I could have chosen, if I wanted to do this for the likes, I could just do like, viral skits or something like that. Or if I wanted to do this for the money, I probably would have been an economist. But for some odd reason, like, Jesus put in my heart or my soul or whatever that, yo, you're meant to like music. Like, you like doing it for whatever reason. There's not, like, especially at the start, there's not much gain, I suppose. Like because I've been busking, like I've been like get like playing in bars and stuff for like no money or beer. I mean, and so there's not much gain at the start aside from the craft. And so if you don't, and this, I suppose, is something that you learn as you go along. It's like if you don't really want to like do it for the sake of making something beautiful, then you won't be able to do it for very long. And actually, that's probably one of the best learnings ever, Frick.
Amen.
So many realizations.
Do it for the sake of making do it for the sake of making something beautiful. That's awesome. More on that, but I think I got to ask you to share something beautiful, which is your next song. So what is the next song you have?
So the next song on the lineup is called Mary. I wrote it because I never heard a song about Mary that's not like one of the ones that you would hear at mass. Not saying they're not beautiful or whatever, but they're all very like you wouldn't hear it on the radio. And especially jumping into the music world as a Catholic, that's what I wanted. I wanted stuff that like, if I turn on the radio, maybe there's a chance someone will hear something about Jesus, or maybe there's someone will hear about Mary, or maybe there's a chance someone will hear something about a saint or something like that. And you see it more and more, like big guys like Chance the Rapper, Justin Bieber, they just dropped a song called Holy, which is amazing. And you mean like there's a whole bunch of artists, Lecrae, blah, 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 that are Tori Kelly. But yeah, I wrote it because I was like, I don't really know of a song that talks about Mary. And I'm a big fan of Mary. So yeah, I suppose I'll go ahead and play it.
Yeah, this song is called
Mary.
Mary. Take it away.
Where are we going?
Mary, 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 won't you pray with me? Mary, 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 you're where I need to be. When I'm cold and alone, and there's no one home, I seek to be beside you. Hey, it's awkward for a second, not sure what to do. Say what I'm thinking about or what I'm going through. Do I ask for help? I'm not sure what to choose. I'm talking to myself, I'll ask you for the truth. What am I doing here? What am I looking for? I'm kinda nervous, kinda peaceful, walking through the door. I'm seeing pictures, not of richest people on the floor, suffering and wondering, what is this for? Mary, 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 won't you pray with me? Oh, Mary, 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 you're where I need to be. When I'm cold and alone, and there's no one home, I seek to be beside you. This church I need to be, I'm weak, I'm kneeling down. I cannot make a sound, I cannot turn around. Don't wanna leave this space, this place where love is found. Been here for hours now, the silence speaking loud. Your love is in my hands, it's decades at a time. Mysteries are treasured, hands are intertwined. Listen to your story, sounding much like mine. Talk about my life, now everything is fine. Mary, 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 won't you pray with me? Maybe, maybe, maybe you're where I need to be. When I'm cold and alone, when there's no one home, I seek to be beside you. Mary, 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 won't you pray with me?
Cool.
Beautiful. Man, I love that. You're right. If I wasn't hearing the words, I would have no idea that that was a very Catholic song.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. It really makes me think then, I think faith in music and like you were saying, like there's certain routes where maybe more guaranteed to get more attention or more likes or people to really pay attention. So and sometimes faith is not one of, sometimes those two don't mix, maybe, the mainstream music that is popular and is catching on and people would pay attention, and then your faith and the like that prayers that come from faith. So how do you sort of reconcile the two? How is it that faith plays into the music that you make and the career that you're pursuing?
Well, this comes up a lot actually, especially amongst like Catholic friends. The number one joke that like people have been saying to me is, Tommy, when like, especially, I don't know if it's good to like even refer to the song, but there's a song currently on the top that's number one that is like straight bad. It's very bad. You mean like
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, we know what the song is.
We know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a couple of letters. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of letters. Yeah. And a lot of my friends are like, Tommy, when are you gonna make a song that like, put something wholesome on the charts, put something like, when are you gonna make it there, blah blah blah. And I appreciate that, like it's good encouragement and blah and stuff, but there is a level of like there's a reason people like the song, and it's because they're it's sad to say, but it's because the world's view of beauty has changed and warped into something that's not necessary. Like I'm not the judge on what's beautiful and what's not, but that's what's happened. Like, because if you really take it back in the day, like some of the most beautiful like music that was like that at the start was like Gregorian chanting. You mean like essentially Catholic music, right? And that was us. We did that. Like as prideful as that sounds, like Catholics kind of where the music goes. We made it. Like, and so it really sucks that like now, not necessarily there's no Catholic music makers like in the front lines, but it's real tough to find an example of like this person made a hit song that people, regardless of who they are, like vibe to, and is also Catholic. Like it's very rare. And so I suppose where the faith and music collide for me anyway is I'm really just banking on the fact that Jesus told me to do this, and like that hopefully one day I can make something beautiful enough to make people, I suppose, realize that, I suppose. Well, yeah, I'm not too wrapped up in the numbers, I suppose. Like if one person hears one of my songs and they're like, yo, that was beautiful. That's, to be honest, that's really enough for me. Like it's like, because someone says this to me all the time whenever I release a song, they always send me a message and they go, beauty will save the world. And I really had to think about that because I was like, I suppose even my view of beauty was a bit warped because I was like, beauty will save the world? Isn't that a bit like vain, or isn't that a bit like who's beautiful? I'm not particularly attractive, I suppose. You mean like that's how you talk like, but really when you dig into it, beauty is essentially from God. Like anything you see as beautiful comes from Jesus, and so it really is what will save the world. And I can only hope to, I suppose like play my part in that creation process of like make something beautiful and hopefully hopefully if enough people hear it and engage with it, like something will happen. But it's tough. Like I'll definitely say that it's really difficult to when you hear what's on the radio or what's like getting spun really often. It's very difficult as a songwriter to be like, yo, that like like I don't like tearing people down or whatever or saying bad stuff about people, but like it's I just listen like some of the words or some of the stories that they're telling or some of the things that they do in the videos or whatever. I'm just like, man, what? Like, why? Like, Jesus, tell me why this is happening. Like, why is it like this? But as a songwriter, that's kind of the faith you got to have to kind of be like, all right, well, the next song that I write might be the one that changes the world. And so, as as cliche as or movie hero like that might sound, like you just got to believe, I suppose. Like, yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but
Yeah. Oh, definitely. There was a lot to unpack there. Thanks for sharing your heart on that. That a lot of that resonated with me. I love. You said it. I don't know if Jeff's still here. I saw Jeff Miraflor. He's a Jesuit, but he would tell me that line all the time too. Music came from Gregorian chant. Like you said, like Catholics are the originators of music, which is so crazy. I think,
yeah,
and I love how you put it that, like if you look at the charts and, there are, like you said, there are some wholesome songs and some artists that it definitely praise God that somehow God-centered music is sometimes on there. But if you do the numbers like percentage wise, like you said, it's indicative of, I like how you put it, there's just a misperception of what true beauty is. And the whole time you were talking about beauty and your desire to just make something beautiful, I mean, that is everything that's in Letter to Artists from Pope John Paul II. He just says like artists they remind us of beauty. They're the ones to see beauty and to bring that out and to share it in forms that maybe is inexpressible in words. And so I cannot help but like see so clearly beneath all of your songwriting is your Catholic root. And so I think it's just so cool to see that. There's this one line too that really I think helped me to understand what you were saying. He says, artists who are conscious of all this, their gift and their sort of calling to use it for others, and says they must labor without allowing themselves to be driven by the search for empty glory or the craving of cheap popularity. And I think that's what your friends, well intentioned, but when are you going to put something wholesome on the charts? And I think that on the charts, though it's a good meaning statement, like the intent that I want something beautiful to be heard by everybody, but that sort of the charts is already this list of popularity, like this is what is popular and what people are listening to. And so I love that you're really sort of detached from that, the pursuit of that, like virality and being mainstream, and really committed to just putting something out there that, like you said, could change one heart or whatever. Because behind the chart stuff, it isn't just that it's a song that everybody likes, that sounds good, that resonates with whatever the culture is right now, but it's also a ton of marketing and money put behind it in order to get it out there, in order to get it up to the charts. It is a thing of virality if there's not a ton of marketing and something is top 100. So I think there's a lot of cheapness in, if your dream was just to get something wholesome on the charts. But I love, that's why you really showed that at the heart of it, what's important is you're just committed to making something beautiful. And then, God willing, I think I'm taken back to the story at the beginning of the Full Blast song, that God will, if it's the right time and the right, and everything just aligns, that God will, like you said, there's a song that could change the world. And it's not going to be by your pursuit of, I need a number one song, on the charts.
Yeah.
It's going to be your pursuit of making something beautiful. And then God just allowing that to really be seen by the right people.
That's an amen. Oh man. Yeah. I gotta do more of these. This is good as. I love this.
Amen.
Crazy.
Glad you think so, bro.
Yeah. Nah, thank you for having me. This is crazy. Like, I just think about that and it's like, yeah, I mean, just even me being on this thing is just another affirmation of like, yo, you're doing okay, Tommy. You know what I mean? Like, thank you.
Awesome. One other question. So again, you post a lot, which is awesome. You are
Yeah.
continuously honing this craft of songwriting, of music. How did you get sort of into the habit of posting that stuff, and how did you get into a regular routine of really working on music regularly? That it really seems like there's a lot of discipline behind it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there is. I think discipline is the number one thing. It's almost like, for example, if you have a goal or a mission or whatever. For example, it's. I suppose the best analogy is usually health, right? If you want to lose weight or be healthy or whatever, you'll get in the gym. You mean like if you want to. Oh, actually, basketball is better. If you want to get better at basketball, you go practice. You mean? And so any skill, I suppose, is the same. And so I'm just trying to get into the gym, songwriting gym, as much as possible. Like I want to be there. Like we talk about people like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James. They're at the gym like 8-10 hours a day, eating perfect food, and like they dedicate everything to really perfect their craft. And so not saying I'm like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James level or whatever, but I would like to emulate, I suppose, their dedication to the craft. And so posting actually has been one of the main ways for me to get in the gym more. Because I found, especially as a creative, trying to make something beautiful, as much as we've been talking about it, it's actually very difficult for one to say, like yourself, like myself, to say, oh man, that was beautiful what I just made. It's quite difficult. But what helps is, and sorry, I say that to say that, and so that usually kind of gives you like, gives myself like insecurities of like, yo, it's not that good. But so I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm gonna keep like changing it, altering it, blah blah blah. And it's almost and a cool analogy that I think would work for it is like if I was a painter, what would happen is I would start painting on a blank canvas, and then I'll paint a house, and then I'll be like, oh man, this house doesn't look good. So instead of like starting a new canvas, you'll just paint over it and wait for it to dry, and like you paint a new house over that house, and you'd wait for it to dry. And then you'd look at it again and you'd be like, nope. And then you got to wait again. And then you got to paint again. And then you got to wait. And then you got to paint. And so the thing I suppose that happens with posting is I'm not waiting and painting over my old canvas. I'll put it out there and then I can start a new canvas or a new song or a new whatever. And it allows me to get into the gym more because there's I suppose a lot less time of me waiting for perfection to come, because it never will. I mean Jesus might come one day back, but like perfection in terms of an artist, especially like for me personally, I don't think there's ever going to be a time where I'll release a song and I'm like, yo, that was the perfect song. Do you mean like, and if someone can do that, you're a very blessed person, and I wish I had the grace that you have, but I just don't have it, like, because, and so like I suppose because the main goal is to just get into the gym. That's the goal, to get better at the craft, getting in the gym. But what often hinders people from getting in the gym is I'm not good enough, or like it's not perfect, or blah blah blah. And so for me, the consistent posting is a way for me to get over that, because it's like not necessarily the things that I have don't have any worth to me. They have a lot of worth, right? Like I put in, I hope they have worth to me anyway. But there's a like it makes it so that I have no excuse for like lingering and waiting on my perfection to come. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to get in the gym. I suppose that's the answer. And in terms of practical tips, like you just can't be scared to post stuff. Like even if it's in your eyes, it's like, what's that saying? One man's trash is another man's treasure. Look at that. I mean, like it's the same thing with like video and songwriting. Like to be honest, some of the songs that I post up, especially the ones that I put on my stories, I'm like, oh, this is just a throwaway. Like I'll just put this up just to show myself, if anything, that I got in the gym. And then someone will be like, yo, Tommy, that's so good. Like, man, how do you blah, blah, blah. Like, can you give me some this, that, the other? Like, when does this song come out? And it's just affirmations of like even if you think it's trash, it could be treasure. You just have to change how you look. Like sometimes, like if you have a piece of gold, but on one side it's covered with like a piece of rubbish. On the side that you're looking on it, all you see is the rubbish. If you just look on the other side, it's gold. You mean? And so, I think that's probably one of the biggest tips that I could give someone. It's like you just your viewpoint of the gold or your art can't be the thing that dictates if you put it into the world, because there's a whole bunch of factors that play into you not liking it. It's yours, your own voice. You've listened to it a million times. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things. And so, and if I really want to get in the gym, it's something you mean, that's like the price of membership. You mean like you got to pay that to go to the gym. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now, but I hope that answers the question.
That's okay. Stop apologizing, man. Your rambles are good stuff. That's really good. Yeah, Tina said it. That's like super applicable to any craft. Before I respond, there's a Isabel. Do you know Isabel? She gave like at least 10,000 hearts. On the
I appreciate you, Isabel. I think she might be from Brazil. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Dang, you got international listeners. That's awesome. But yeah, I really like what you were saying about beauty, that you can't necessarily see the beauty in it. And I think, what the moment you said that, I was thinking about like naturally, like we're not always looking in a mirror. So when you talk about seeing beauty, it is more naturally that we see beauty and all around us, and so that I think similarly to things that we create, we don't immediately see the beauty in it. And so I like what you were saying, that, but an outside perspective or somebody on the other side of the gold can see the beauty or the way that God used it to impact them. But that can never happen if you keep it to yourself. And I say that because I've, talked to the last 9 episodes of this. There's some people with some insane talent, some songs that are insanely beautiful prayers, powerful prayers. And there's, and they haven't necessarily shared it, openly, besides giving it to a few friends who totally impacted. They said, you've got to share this. And there's and I think understandably so, a cautiousness of like, I don't want to put it out there like on Instagram or something. Maybe there's a fear of vanity or a fear of pride that comes with it. But I think, with everything that you said, I think it puts it in perspective of twofold. Like number one, it could impact someone else, or that somebody else could see the gold that the reflection of gold that they need to see, or that God needs to say to them, or that, God willing, that someone else can affirm you of the beauty that is there, and that the talent that is often hard to see in ourselves. And I think that's a little bit, it's nuanced, but sometimes we just post because we do, like you said, for the likes. And you, at the very beginning, you were saying, at the start, you see those numbers and you go, oh yeah, that feels good. And I think the nuance of not about feeling good, but that God willing, somebody could, because I think what's more powerful than, a heart and a like, and those numbers are pretty empty, but it is that if somebody reaches out and says, hey, that I really needed that prayer, I needed that song, like, hey, that really impacted me. And so to be able to share this piece of gold, I think that is an important thing. I think a really important thing that I would really like to share the way that you put it with a lot of people that I know who are sort of sitting on a gold mine, and not in the monetary sense, but in the sense of there's something beautiful that they have, that there's a fear of sharing it.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Man, you like, yeah. I gotta do more of these. These are crazy. Good as. Appreciate this.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Well, what is your next song that you have? Hiding on a gold mine.
So the next song is called Silence. And funnily enough, it's about, so it's written from God speaking to me. And it's kind of just like an affirmation of like, yo, you're good. Like you have a gold, you're a gold mine, as linking it back to what we were just talking about. And yeah, I wrote it actually. It's funny. I wrote it in adoration, and at the time, I didn't even know really what I was. I was just writing words, and then eventually, when I hopped out of adoration, I got like to my like studio setup or home setup. I ended up putting the song together, and so it was really like, yo, surely this is inspired by Jesus. And so yeah, the song is called Silence.
All right, take it away.
You were perfectly made, yes. Every piece of you saved inside of my heart. You may seem so far now, 'cause it's only the start. Just come as you are. I'd like you to be with me. Come closer, my dear. Your presence, it brings me peace. In silence, you'll hear my voice. You'll feel my hands. You'll know my choice. You'll know who I am. And I'll always stay. Give me all your mistakes. I'll never depart. And the ways that you pray are the ways that you make. Change as you are. I'd like you to be with me. Come closer, my dear. Your presence, it brings me peace. In silence, you hear my voice. You feel my hands. You'll know my choice. You know who I am. I'd like you to be with me. Come closer, my dear. Your presence, it brings me peace. In silence, you hear my voice. You feel my hands. You know my choice. You'll see who I am.
Cool.
Beautiful. Now silence. But I really love what I loved about that is it was conceived in a place of silence, adoration. And I've been talking to others and who have created songs that came to them in adoration as well, but the songs that came forth from them, the sound of them are very different. And that's what I love is this is such an affirmation to me of like that source being the same, this beautiful spark from God, but then it really does get filtered through the artist. And so when it gets filtered through you, it sounds completely different, but that source of prayer is the same. It's Pope John Paul II says works of art speak of their authors. And that's like what I see so clearly is that when it goes through you, it speaks of sort of who you are as an artist and the style and your musicality. And yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that. I'd hope so. You mean like every person, I suppose, is different, especially for in terms of making music. Like I think that's something that a lot of musicians will run into. Like, yo, I just want to make a song that sounds like Justin Bieber, or I want to make a song. I want to sound like Ed Sheeran, or I want to sound like Stevie Wonder, or whoever it may be, Lecrae or Tori Kelly or Kirk Franklin or Hillsong or whatever. I think the important thing, especially when writing inspired by prayer, is that you got to remember that it's you. Like there's a specific message that I suppose God or Jesus will tell you to say. Like there's some like beauty that he wants you to reflect in that song. But I don't know. I just guarantee that you're the only one that could do it in your way. And so, I think there's big power in understanding that truth, that you are an individual, but you're also loved by God. He'll give you something.
Beautiful, man. You are dropping a lot of good knowledge, man. Praise God. Yeah. This is good stuff. I'm going to make it required listening for anybody who has that songwriting itch in them. It's really beautiful. I think you're somehow you're really grounded in understanding like the reason why you do it. And I think that's what comes off so clearly. You know, I think that's at the heart of humility is really knowing why you do it and who you do it for. And, you know, if God willing that, you write that song that changes the world. I think what's so revealing is that the heart behind the song that would change the world is so rooted in knowing where your talents come from and who you do it for and why you do it. And it's I don't know. I'm just super, I think, inspired in how solid your foundation feels, because you're able to really articulate it so well. Just your whys and the reasons why you do things and your approach to everything. So for real, Tommy, thanks for sharing your heart and your process. I could also do this forever, like you're saying. I would love to have another one of these, bro.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Part 2 coming soon.
Part 2. Oh yeah, let's do it tomorrow. Just kidding. But yeah, before we close, there's one more song. So before we do a prayer, what is the last song that you have for us?
Oh, the last song is called Full Blast, actually. And it is the song that I was speaking about at the start of the conversation, that was like had fireworks and choreographed to it, whatever. And I don't really have too much to say about it. Like it's from like Jesus made it. Like it might be my voice, but honestly, I think this song played a big part in me becoming a fully fledged musician. And so yeah, it has a very special place in my heart, I suppose. Yeah, it's called Full Blast. All
right. Let's end with a prayer, and then we'll pass it to you. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Lord, just for really revealing so much about what is at the heart of this calling of musicians and of songwriters and of artists. And Lord, for really showing us this calling, this very specific calling to beauty, reminding us, Lord, to really seek out the true beauty and to let it filter through us, to not be afraid to share it. From Pope John Paul II, we are reminded, Lord, that the artist has a special relationship to beauty. In true sense, it can be said that beauty is the vocation bestowed on him by the Creator. And so, Lord, just let us live out in our hearts. We have this calling to art. Let us live out this vocation of beauty fully. This we pray. Amen.
I remember you took away my heartaches, give my day a reason, enough reason to live my life for others, serve with a grateful heart, and know that you are faithful, faithful till the end. So we'll go full blast, wives, full blast. This is a faith explosion. No one's stopping us. Full blast, wives, full blast. This is a love explosion, and God will run with us. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, whoa, oh. I remember you. You took away my heartache, give my day a reason, enough reason to live my life for others, serve with a grateful heart, and know that you are faithful, faithful till the end. Go full blast, wives, full blast. This is a faith explosion. No one's stopping us. Full blast, wives, full blast. This is a love explosion, and God will run with us. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh.